Okay, welcome to the April 20th chat. I'm very grateful to Faye Busgang for having substituted for me last week. She set a new standard that I'm not sure I can meet, but it does show that it doesn't depend upon one person, and she'll be doing it, I think, from time to time. So I want to follow her example and say, remind everybody, well, first, before that, if you want closed captions, they're down below, and you can just go where it says show captions and click on it. But as Faye emphasized last week, it would be, if you're going to speak, please go down to the reactions and click on raise hand. That not only lets us see you better, but it brings you up to the very top of the screen that I'm running, so I can't miss you. And then unmute yourself before you're going to, when you know you're going to speak. So we have a fairly good list of announcements. We'll start with Anna Marcus.
I want to tell the community that we now have a fairly substantial children's book library in the intergenerational office that is available for the whole community, for you to read to your grandchildren, to read if you're in the programs, the intergenerational programs. And it has been established in honor of Anne Mall. And all the books are picture books, but if you need books for older kids, I've got about 300 of them. And they've all been very well reviewed, and they're popular, good books. In order to get into the library room, you can ask security for a key. Linda Busgang has been very generous to say that we can go in and out of there and get books. And there will be a small notebook for you to sign out books. Please return them. Some of them have child wear and tear, and most of them are in terrific condition. So that's another resource for people who have kids coming here or who are reading to kids. In memory of Anne.
Okay, thank you. And now Susan New Rochelle.
Hi, this is just a reminder that the Outreach Committee will be collecting used paperback books in good condition between May 8th and May 11th in a box in Nosh by the waterfall. Or if you need help getting them to us, please just let me know and we'll get them from you. Thank you.
Thanks. And Sharon Gavea.
Hey, everyone. This is a save the date reminder. On May 6th, the Hospitality Committee and the Community Life Department are going to be sponsoring the next Saturday social. And backed by popular demand, we're going to be doing trivia. So please put on your calendar May 6th at 2 o'clock and join us in the synagogue. Unless we're such a big crowd, we move into Great Meadow Hall, but please join us and have a fun afternoon on a Saturday. Thank you.
Sid, you raised your hand. Do you want to make an announcement, or you have a question of what was already announced? Sid Josephi.
Hi, I've been going in and out on the, I'm sorry, I just walked in and something's not working. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, we have so many new residents at Newbridge. I just wanted to remind everyone and inform the new ones about turning in your plastic food containers that you've received from the dining room, sometimes from the store if they look exactly like from the dining room. Please do not put in any containers that have holes in the bottom, like from produce, from berries from the stores. They put them in a paper bag, try to clean them out, please, and put them in behind Joe's desk, the concierge desk. Thank you. Someone just picked them up today. I must tell you, took all the round ones, large and small, to send to the Dominican Republic.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Jane Milner, and then Bob Orkin.
Newbridge celebrates Earth Day tomorrow, Friday, in Great Meadow Hall, beginning at 10:30. We hope you'll join us for what will surely be a very lively event with music, popcorn machine, popsicles, and other treats. There will be 16 fabulous displays with fellow residents telling our environmental story at Newbridge and beyond. If you're going to Symphony, I know this is a number of you are doing that. Come for the first half hour to check out the displays hosted by your Newbridge colleagues. The keynote speaker, Gretchen Carey, a woman in the recycling industry who is a passionate advocate for telling the truth, identifying what's broken. And here's the good news. She'll be talking about how to be a smart, wise, responsible recycler for the sake of our country, for the sake of our oceans, for the sake of the future, for the sake of our world. See you tomorrow, Great Meadow Hall, 10:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Bob Orkin.
I want to remind everybody about the Appreciation Fund. Some of us have come to understand that some of our newer residents may not be aware of the fact that our staff cannot receive tips, that the Appreciation Fund is a way that we, the residents of Newbridge, say thank you to our wonderful staff. I know each of us has been touched in many, many ways by the kindness of those who work on our behalf. And the Appreciation Fund is the very best way for us to show our appreciation. So you all should have received notices with directions on how to contribute. Please don't forget to do that. Everyone is most appreciative of our generosity. So thank you in advance.
Thank you. And Larissa Levitch.
Thank you, Jerry. Good afternoon. So I'd like to make a few announcements. And the first, I'd like to remind the community that tomorrow is the deadline for submitting your registration forms for our spring courses. So if you wish to take advantage of any of the 4 courses that we are offering this spring, you need to do it today or tomorrow. I already took a pic of the pile of the registration forms. It's very thick, but I will try to accommodate as many as I could. So just to remind you that as a compliment, if you have some doubts about whether this course is a right course for you, you could come once and then make a decision. You're not going to be charged as long as you make me aware that you have decided that this is not the right course for you. I hope to see many of you. Any questions about the courses, or I can move?
Are there any questions of Larissa?
Okay, so my next announcement is about our May outings. The flyer with all May outings went out yesterday. I am very pleased that we are selling very quickly. So in May, we offer 5 outings. They are very different. I encourage you to take a close look, whether you want to go to the museum or out for dinner, or have a complimentary ice cream, or go to Arboretum. Selection in May is very versatile, and I hope that many of you will find something of interest. And the third thing that I wanted to mention is 2 upcoming programs. One is tonight, and another one is Saturday night. And both of these programs reflect my effort to reach out to the professional local chamber ensembles and bring them to Newbridge. And so far, people are very, very interested in coming to Newbridge. So this evening, we're gonna welcome back Worcester Chamber Music Society with 2 guest musicians for an evening of wonderful classical selections. They have become actually the pilot of coming to Newbridge and bringing their concerts to Newbridge for the 2nd year now. And they are the inspiration for me to reach out to others, and you will see more. And this Saturday, I'd like to offer something is different, and I'd like to hear your feedback. So I know there are many of you in Newbridge that love singing, and we are working now on putting together the next generation of chorus with the new chorus conductors. So it has become an inspiration for me to look for some choral experience bringing to Newbridge. And I found out this very interesting to me, vocal ensemble. So they do close harmony singing. Why did I find them interesting? They are from many different countries, and they bring the culture and musical and choral tradition of many cultures as European and American. So I thought it's something very different. And I know that you guys are always adventurous and willing to learn and to hear something new. So I hope to see many of you tonight and on Saturday. I'm done, Jerry. Thank you.
Thank you. And now Fernando Rodriguez.
Afternoon, everyone. Just a couple things I wanted to touch on. First off, as most of you have seen, the landscaping company is out there in force, working around the campus. They are systematically going through the campus, doing the spring cleanups and starting the mulching. We do ask that you don't stop them and ask them to come to you to have stuff done. As I said, they're systematically working through the campus. Once that's done, what we're going to be doing is we're going to look at what did not make it through last year's heat wave and this winter. But that'll be a couple more weeks. As things start to grow, we'll get a better idea of what died and what needs to be replaced. So that's on the landscape front. The second thing I have to mention is more towards the cottage community. For those of you who don't know, the garage door company that made all the garage doors went out of business. And same with the company that made the storm doors. We are working through that. I've made some progress with the garage doors. We did pick out a garage door that will be similar to what we have, but not exact, but the colors will match. We hope to get that kicked off within the next month. We will be replacing all the garage doors. We're looking to get probably half done this year and half done next year. As for the storm doors, I've also found another company that I will be talking with again next week about storm doors. Same thing, it will be similar to the ones that the residents have now. It won't be exact, but the colors will be exact. So just more to come on those 2 things.
Well, while we have Fernando, are there any questions of Fernando? Okay, then we have a.
I have one.
Oh, Sid, okay, but go ahead. And then Barbara Nadich, I guess, has a different question. Go ahead.
I assume with the garage doors, the whole mechanism is going to be included.
Yes, everything except the closers, which are fine. So all the railings and everything else will all be replaced.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Barbara, you had your hand up.
Yeah, Fernando, there's been some with the 4,000 building elevators, particularly the smaller elevator of the 2. And so there's been several work orders put in and what have you. Has the elevator company been notified, and are they coming? Because it sets up a very dangerous situation right now.
Whenever we get a call about an elevator, one of my guys goes and checks it out, and the elevator company is called that day, and they come out to address the issue.
Well, apparently it didn't work. And I know I put a work order in last week, and when I got back in town yesterday, what happens is the elevator seems to settle in, and then it's maybe this much higher, you know, from the landing to the actual floor. So it's very easy for people to trip, number one. Number two, it seems to pick itself when you get on and you press the button, just as the doors are closing, it decides to move up. And so that I know has not been fixed.
All right, I'll take a look into that. That's the leveling mechanism. It actually levels out, so I will have that looked at.
Okay, thank you.
One other thing, you're welcome. One other thing I forgot to mention on the landscaping. I know this time of year, a lot of individuals like to put out their flowers in their freestanding ground planters and urns. Just to let you know, in the villas and the apartments, the freestanding ground planters and urns are only allowed on your private porch. They shouldn't be put on any half walls or anything else besides your private porch. If you do put them out, we will ask you to remove them. As for the cottage members, they're allowed to have their planters and urns on the slate in the front of your foyer, at your front door, the outside rear patio, and between your garage doors and pavements, on the pavement between your garage doors. So if you go ahead and you put out some and they're not in those areas, you will be asked to have them removed.
Terry Union. You got, I'll unmute you. Go ahead.
Sorry. So the question I have, Fernando, goes back to the cottages, and you're talking about the garage doors, but there are other issues. For example, the trim around my garage doors is splintering at the bottom. The paint is coming off. And it's not very attractive. And also with the front door, there's an issue with the wood kind of splittering a little bit and the paint. So, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that has that issue.
As we're replacing the garage doors, we'll be looking at all of those and replacing those as well that need to be replaced. If you are having an issue with your front door, just call down to One Stop Shop and we'll have someone come up and take a look at it.
Yeah, well, I don't have an issue. It works. I'm just talking about the way it looks.
Yeah, no, even that, we'll come up and take a look. It might just need to be scraped and painted, or then again, it might, need to be replaced. So if you have any issues like that, call One Stop Shop and we'll come up and take a look at it and assess it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Zalman or Sandy August.
Rules here.
Go ahead, say it, start from the beginning. You were muted.
Are there any rules about planting annuals?
Where would you like to have them planted?
Well, I was gonna do it, but I didn't know if there were any rules about it. I was
If
gonna,
you want to do it,
I was
sorry
gonna
to
put
cut you off.
in the front, kind of around the bushes.
If you're looking to plant anything and you're not sure about it, well, actually, if you're going to plant anything, reach out to One Stop Shop. We will reach out to our landscaping company and they will come out and have a chat with you and let you know what can and can't be done.
Okay. Thank you.
One thing I might say as well is if you do go ahead and we allow you to plant something, it is your responsibility to take care of it. You need to water it, you need to prune it, and you need to take care of it.
Got it.
Thank you. Roshold.
Do it anyway.
Roz?
Okay, I have a quick question. I live on the in the south building, and I have a wall on as you walk out of. I'm on the first floor. Can I put a plant? My daughter always gives me flowers on Mother's Day. Can I put that on the top of that wall? I've always done it.
No, you cannot.
Oh. I'll have to tell him. It's always been there. Okay.
Why has that changed? I'm sorry, I can't raise hand, Jerry.
Go ahead, Faye.
Okay, so I'm asking Fernando, why that has a huge change. There are a lot of people who put things on their walls and they've been doing it for 13 years. And they, the same way in the little area in front of the wall on the patio, and it looks terrific. And I don't understand why we are not allowed to do that.
Actually, Faye, it hasn't changed. We're actually enforcing it a little harder. If you look on, I believe it's page 11 and 12 of the resident handbook, it actually states where you can and can't put your planters. So it's not that it's changed, it's really being enforced.
Why? Can we change that rule? Can we get that rule changed?
Matt?
That's a conversation for a different time.
Yeah, it's a much bigger conversation. I mean, the reason for the rule, Faye, and I'm sure you can appreciate this, is to keep the campus from just looking like a mishmash of everything all over the place. Fernando's right. In the past, it wasn't really enforced. Although last year I took an awful lot of grief over it. I just chose to carry it on my shoulders and not share it all with you. So, you know, it's something we can certainly look at. But right now, Fernando's right to approach this and have the conversation with everyone up front.
Okay, Marcia Vannicelli.
Yes, so I have holly bushes planted around my patio. I didn't plant them. They have 0 leaves on them, and I understand that there's a spray that can be used. I assume that Newbridge will do that.
As I said, we're kind of waiting. We're kind of waiting for everything to stop bloom, and then what we'll do is we'll be going around to take a look at everything, you know, and assess it. If it needs to be sprayed, yeah, that's something we would take care of.
Well, the holly bushes, they're not going to bloom. They have 0 leaves left. They're down to nothing. So I'd like them sprayed so that when the new buds come up, they won't be eaten off.
Well, we can look into that, not necessarily saying we're going to go spray every holly tree that's on the campus.
Well, I'm not talking about every holly tree. I'm talking about three trees that have been planted by somebody else around my patio. Either they have to be removed, I didn't plant them, or they need to be sprayed.
We can take that offline and have a conversation, you and I.
Thank you.
Okay, Judy Goldman.
I would just like to ask that we have more color in the plantings at the front entrance to the property from 135. It's very dull looking. It has been very dull looking over the past few years.
I'm glad you brought that up, Judy. Maybe that's something I should have mentioned. That whole entranceway is getting reworked this May and June. We reached out to a landscape architect company and they helped us design a new front entrance. We're working with the landscaping company at this time. All the contracts have been signed and they're just waiting for the plants to come in.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Maya Fine, and then we're going to move on.
So this morning or this afternoon on the way out, I did notice a whole flock of deer who were in that general area. So I assume what they're doing is going to be deer proof.
Yes, we took into consideration using indigenous plants because we found out over the years some plants just don't work well here. And we also were looking at drought resistant plants as well as deer resistant plants. So that was all taken into account when we designed this.
Okay, now Matt, my understanding is that we have Dr. Schuster and Dr. Mandel here to talk about the practice.
That is correct.
Okay, who's going first?
Hi, I can get started. Thank you very much for inviting us to this meeting and giving us a chance to talk. We'd like to just update you on the Newbridge primary care practice and also perhaps address the recent FDA and CDC updates on COVID vaccination, and of course, answer any questions that you may have. First, hopefully you saw the comprehensive announcement yesterday about our primary care practice. The Hebrew Senior Life Department of Medicine's really excited to share that Dr. Matthew Schuster will be shifting his focus exclusively to the primary care clinic and assuming the role of medical director of the practice, effective immediately. As those of you who are patients of Dr. Schuster can attest, he's an outstanding physician, deeply committed to providing the highest level of care and follow-up to his patients. Now, combined with Dr. Rhodes-Croft, there will now be physician presence in the clinic 5 days per week, with night and weekend coverage shared with our sister practice at Orchard Cove. And this is in no small part in response to your feedback about a desire for more physician attention and physician presence in the clinic. The practice also includes physical and occupational therapy and behavioral health services. And we think the practice is really well positioned to grow and serve more members of the Newbridge community. And we look forward to continuing to care for you and welcome you to the practice. I'm going to ask Dr. Schuster to come on and introduce himself and share a few words as well.
Thanks for inviting us, and we are excited about the change, as Dr. Mandel told you. We will have a clinician presence, nurse practitioner or physician 5 days a week, and I will be increasing my time in the clinic as well. I'm not there all the time. We do function as a team, and between myself and Dr. Rhodes-Croft and a nurse practitioner, most likely Tara will be there on Fridays as well. I think we have a good team approach, and I'm also excited to say that we have received funding to hire a clinic nurse, which is a really nice upgrade that I think every good primary care clinic should have. That nurse will, I think, really improve service in that it will offload some of the phone calls that sometimes you may be waiting for callbacks. And that nurse will really be, her purpose will be to review medical findings, to do appropriate triage, and to make sure that Dr. Rhodes-Croft and myself really know what's going on. So we're recruiting, we're interviewing, and we hope to have that nurse on board in the next couple of months, which I'm excited about. And also, we have increased our lab capabilities. We now have blood work, urine testing available 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. The lab is available for blood draws between 9 and 12. And that service is primarily for patients of the practice. It is difficult to coordinate lab tests for those who have outside physicians. It has been done in the past, but we certainly encourage this for residents here who have a physician here. And I do think this is a real upgrade in our lab capability. So I'm glad to announce that. I think we have mastered our new medical record system, which started last fall, as some of you know. And we are working very hard to get a patient portal in place this year. The work is going slower than I had hoped, but we have been assured we will have that patient portal up and running later this year, and I will keep you posted on that. I think that will be a real nice enhancement as well. I think those are I do want to mention one other thing. As some of you know, I think most of you know, we really have an outstanding physical and occupational department for therapy right next door to us. And just today, in fact, we received a compliment from one of the doctor residents in the practice who wrote to Mary Moscato really to say how outstanding. I think this doctor had said he had been in practice as an intern for 35 years, 40 years, and was just very impressed with the service from our PT and OT folks. So a shout out to them. And I think it's very nice to have a primary care practice that is really standing and working closely with the therapists. So I think that's some of the good news from the practice.
Thank you. Do we have any questions of either doctor? Well, welcome to our Zoom chat, and come back when you think you should be updating us further. Thank you very much. And Matt, you're on.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. So for starters, in a time where every other clinic around the United States is shrinking, you can tell ours is expanding. So a big thank you to our medical director, Dr. Ernest Mandel, and Dr. Schuster, it's really exciting what's happening there. So if you're not a member of the clinic, you know, ask around. It's really exceptional, and the direction it's going is quite incredible as well. So we're doing our best to really make the clinic an outstanding place of support for you all. So take advantage of it. It's a very rare thing to have. And the fact that we have this clinic is just absolutely incredible. So to both doctors, thank you very much for being on. It is greatly appreciated.
Thanks.
Fernando also forgot to mention that a lot of us probably saw that line striping took place on the campus, which is quite a coordinated effort, as well as filling of the potholes around the campus. So thank you to Fernando for being all over that. So we are in full-fledged getting ready for spring and summer season. So I'm very pleased about that. I do see a hand up, Jerry, so I figure we should take it before I go into anything else.
Go ahead, Sandy or Zalman.
Yeah, Dr. Schuster, just two comments. One, you were going to approach the new vaccines and discuss those. And the other is, I don't know if everybody is aware that you have access to all of the lab studies that we might get elsewhere in the BI system.
I don't, oh, Dr. Mandel is still on. I see that.
I think Dr. Schuster might have had to get back to clinic, but that is absolutely the case, that we do have access to the BI system, the MGB system, and for both laboratory testing, specialty follow-up, and anything like that, so we can provide, you know, very strong and seamless continuity of care. I'm happy to briefly address the question of vaccination if there's time, Matt.
Go ahead.
Sure, please go ahead.
So I guess I would just say, you know, as you may have read or heard, over the last 48 hours, the FDA has authorized and the CDC has now recommended a repeat bivalent booster vaccination for those over 65 or those with compromised immune systems, assuming 4 months has elapsed since the last vaccination. So I don't want to overstep in offering medical advice, and I certainly defer to each of you to reach the best decision for you in concert with your own physician. But it does mean that many of you are probably now eligible for a second bivalent booster. The other thing to consider is the CDC has also telegraphed a plan for annual boosters in the fall, the formulation of which will sort of be determined by the next couple of months based on what strains are prevalent in the community. That said, given that fall is over 4 months away, and I certainly don't want to rush summer, but given that it's over 4 months away, it probably means that receiving a booster now would not change your eligibility for that fall booster as well. So, you know, for those who are interested or particularly concerned about waning immunity since your last booster, I'd encourage you to either reach out to the practice to talk to your primary care physician or to your own personal physician to discuss the best course of action for you. I'll defer to Matt to share more, but my understanding is that like in past iterations, Matt and his team are working on getting an outside vendor to provide vaccination on site to all of our residents in a timely and efficient fashion. So maybe I'll pause there and see if there are any questions.
Yeah, Matt, why don't you just add to that before we
Sure.
take the question?
So first of all, thanks, Doc. You just saved me a whole lot of explaining, and coming from you, I don't know any better person, so much appreciated. We're going to be working with Dedham Pharmacy again to get them in here to host a booster clinic. Leanne Jassett, the owner of Dedham Pharmacy, is also a local Dedham community member. She knows our community well. We've worked with her in the past. She's got the system down. We've got the system down. So that discussion is happening right now. And as soon as we have it together, we'll put out the information, and signups can happen just like they have happened in the past. So there'll be a lot more information once that's locked up and we're ready to go. In the meantime, if people don't want to wait for a vaccination clinic, you can, of course, get the vaccine from your local physician. You can get it from CVS, Walgreens, all sorts of different options. But we will be steadily working on it from our end, and we'll be in touch soon about it.
Thanks. I assume that answered your question, Anna.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, terrific.
Go back
Since
to
we're
you.
on the topic, sorry, Jerry.
Yep.
Since we're on the topic of COVID-19, I'm not going to pull up the map because there's nothing extravagant to see. Community spread is still incredibly low in the Commonwealth, particularly within our county. The numbers have dropped 35%, which is incredible. It's come down significantly. So community spread right now is not a significant concern, nor is it here at Newbridge. Right now, we do not have any cases in IL or AL, so we're doing quite well. With that, the plan still remains that on May 1st, which is a Monday, the employees, the mandate for them to wear their masks will be rescinded. However, it will be strongly recommended that they consider wearing one regardless. But I just wanted to remind everybody that that's where we are right now. So Monday, May 1st, when you see somebody with their masks off, you don't need to call my office and tell me. I know. And so we're going to get through this thing together as a community. And remember, I say this every week, it's important to think about your own risk profile and the precautions that are important for you to take to make sure to keep yourself safe. I'll give an example. I was in the phenomenal Yom HaShoah Remembrance event, and I saw some residents wearing masks in there. And they chose to wear those masks because they felt like it was a crowded environment, and based on their risk profile, there was an opportunity to add some protection. And so that's the kind of thing we need to be thinking about as we live in today's society, here at Newbridge and outside of the walls. So I see the hands are going up. So let's take a brief moment to answer some questions.
Marcia Vanisheli.
Hi, thank you. In my home in Cambridge, I still will be having workmen who come in, wear masks. Will it be problematic if I ask for the same thing at Newbridge?
It should not be problematic at all. It is your home.
Thank you. Elaine Oppenheimer. Unmute, Elaine.
Sorry. Okay. Am I unmuted?
Yes.
All right. What about visitors, Matt? When do they stop wearing masks?
May 1st, they'll also be allowed to stop wearing masks.
Thank you.
Remember, this is just for independent living right now. I anticipate, since the Department of Public Health is going to be rescinding all emergency measures on May 11th, I anticipate that something similar will occur both within assisted living and in the healthcare center. Right now, this is just for independent living.
Okay, we're ready to go on.
All right, let's keep moving on. I'm going to have Jessica say a few words about fire alarm inspections. That's happening, I believe, next week. Just a friendly reminder for you all, and it'll also be in my letter.
Yes, perfect. Thanks, Matt. So first, thank you all for the warm welcome this past week. It's been nice to meet a lot of you face to face and have some good conversations. So thank you for that, for being so welcoming. As Matt said, our quarterly fire inspections will begin on April 24th. They will be daily, with the last one being April 28th. The schedule is going to go out in Matt's letter, like he said, on Friday. So all the information will be there as well, but this is our routine quarterly fire inspection.
Thank you, Jess. Mary Jane mentioned Earth Day, and I think we all know Mary Jane well enough to know that she puts her heart and her soul into it. And it's just going to be an incredible day. I have the inside scoop on what it all looks like. If you can make it, please do. There is so much that's happening here on this campus, and I just think it's wonderful for everybody to get a feel for what is actually occurring and the contributions that your fellow residents have made. It's going to be an incredible event. So if you can make it, please, please, please do. And then lastly, I want to remind everybody at the front desks, there are these red boxes with comment cards there. Those are for the Employee Impact Awards. If there's an employee in your mind that has gone above and beyond in serving you or a friend or any way, something that impacts you, please take a moment to write out that card. This is a new employee recognition program. Those cards can be filled out by fellow employees, residents, visitors, and I really just want to show our employees how much we appreciate them. And this is another way that we're going to be able to do that. And so that is it for me and all of my updates. And we can move
Well,
on.
we have a question from Maya Fine.
So this is actually relating to the fire alarms. I was asked by a new resident, do we ever have fire alarms, fire drills here? And I said, we have, but I was wondering what the status of that is.
So Victor recently held some, and he is continuing to do one in every single building. is going to keep rotating that around. I believe the last one he did was intentionally unannounced. And the reason was to learn how people's reactions were and to educate everybody in live time. I don't know if Victor's on the call. If he is, of course, I'll invite him to say a few words, but the short answer is yes. There
Yeah,
will
he
be more.
was on the call. Victor, are you there?
Yeah, I am, guys. And thank you so much, Matthew. And thank you, Mayor, so much. Yes, we are doing unannounced spot drills just to kind of be detached and real with where our opportunities are. And I'm real excited about continuing them. So be on the lookout, Mayor.
Okay.
Okay, well, just follow up on that. When new residents move in, does anybody give them an orientation to the process? Because this was a new resident who had no idea what he's supposed to do and where he's supposed to go.
Victor? Matt?
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if Victor's still with us. Mayor,
Yeah,
I don't know the answer to that.
I'm back here.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, good feedback, Mayor. I'll talk to Mark and David, and I know for a fact that we printed out some incredible infographics with instructions, very simplified instructions on what to do and what to look out for on the welcoming packet. But I'll talk to Mark and David, and if I need to do some in-person, if my team needs to do some in-person in-servicing in the first 30 days or whatever, we'll do that.
Segment 1, Mark.
Thank you, Victor. Appreciate that. That sounds like a good plan.
Sid Josephi and then Barbara Nadish.
Matt, would you mind going over again the having guests for dinner information?
Sure, be happy to do that. I'm Joel, are you on the call? You want to speak to the specifics?
I'm sorry, I missed that. Could you repeat that?
Oh, the question was guest dining right now. Where do we stand with guest dining?
Well, we can definitely have guests down in Nosh, which I want to put in a plug. Tonight we're having Beer Fest in Nosh. So if you're feeling a little spunky and a little spring in your step, come down to Nosh and enjoy a beer. We're kind of having a German theme. But really right now, as we're gearing up and we're seeing more of our brunch opportunities come up with Mother's Day and whatnot, we're headed towards having guests in Centro, but not quite yet. So with the mask mandate being lifted and whatnot, I know that's going to be a hot topic. And I'm sure Josh and the F&B team will be addressing that soon.
I'm sorry, my phone keeps freezing up, so I missed the beginning, but guests at Nosh for dinner is okay?
Yes, so guests in Nosh are allowed. Please come down. We would love to see everybody. You can have guests at Nosh for lunch and dinner. Centro right now, we're just still at lunch, but I'm sure we're going to lift that and we'll have the campus humming again very soon.
Thank you.
Okay, Barbara Nadish, maybe then.
Vic, are you still on?
Who are you asking?
Victor, is he still on?
Mm-hmm.
Victor, what are you doing this in the merry month of May for the alarms?
That's the whole point. He's not supposed to tell you. It's a
Well,
surprise
my point
alarm.
No, I have a real point to this. It would give the floor reps at their floor meetings a chance to go over some of the procedures, but if it's being, and I do agree it should be unannounced, but if it's, we won't have that opportunity just yet.
So Barbara, can I let me, so May, I went over this with William Kent and a lot of my operations seniors. We are going to be hitting training very heavy in May. April is our policy and procedure month, and May, here's a couple of things on the pike. We have spot drills. We're going to be bringing Tuesdays with Security back with some incredible guest speakers, including Captain Mark Roach from Newton Fire to do fire in servicing, and Detective Bob Walsh from Dedham police to go over armed intruder and scams. But yeah, with it's going to be a multi-prong thing. And I can't thank you enough, Barbara, for inviting me and Anna Marcus to the floor meetings. I think the floor meetings, the intimate setting of floor meetings and addressing individualized concerns is far more effective than this sort of platform. So, and it allows us to sort of explore emergency stairwells together and kind of become familiar with our environment together. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in May from
Okay.
a security standpoint.
Thanks.
Okay, I guess that winds it up. We'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.